For decades, anime was a niche interest in the U.S. Today, it's a global phenomenon with hit shows, movies, and sold-out conventions. Our next guest is the voice actor behind one of the most beloved heroes in anime right now. Zach Aguilar voices Tanjiro in the hit Demon Slayer franchise.
I had to become one with the water.
Get in already.
I grabbed it! Let's go! This water smells bad. I shouldn't splash it on her.
Extinguished.
The latest film, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, broke global box office records with a $70 million opening weekend. It's the biggest ever for an anime film. Zach will be in Houston this weekend at AnimeVerse Fest. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
It's going well. You know, I remember for years there was like anime was like a little corner with some other festival, right? Combined with some other festival, but now it's a festival all of its own.
Yeah, it's really kind of exploded over the past few years. It's been incredible to see.
Yeah, I want to see how you got into this. So let's back way up. You started acting at around 5, 6 years old, and your mom was like kind of like your wing woman because you would have to go to auditions, but there was that thing called school.
Yeah, so my mom would call up my kindergarten at the time, and she would tell them that I was really sick, and then she would just have me booked for auditions. She would call up my agent and say, "Hey, how many auditions can we get Zach out to? Let's get him going. Get him every single one. He's free this week."
She recognized the talent in you, but you didn't quite understand acting in the beginning, did you?
No, not at all. I kind of lost interest in it as a kid, honestly. And then voice acting and anime and video games is really kind of what got me back into wanting to perform again.
Yeah, because you just wanted to be with your friends and go to school. And then, as you just said, so when you start playing video games and doing other things, you start to wonder about those characters. So around 12, 13, you discovered anime and video games. What do you think really attracted you into wanting to know about those characters and anime in particular?
You know, I think I just loved the theme of anime, the intense backstories that it really pursued compared to like Western animation. A lot of the characters, they're kind of up against all odds, or they'll go through really in-depth or even kind of traumatic moments in their life. And for me growing up, there were parts of that I could personally relate to. And yeah, I just kind of fell in love with those characters. And being an actor, doing on camera a lot as a kid, I thought it was interesting that you didn't really have to look exactly like how the character looked.
Yeah,
you know?
and that was one of the things your curiosity sparked because you wanted to know about these characters and you look them up. And of course, the hard thing with animation is that human beings don't really look like that animation necessarily, but you have an idea of what that voice belongs to. And you started looking at it and going, hey, and what we know now is that sometimes you may even have somebody playing a male character who's a female or vice versa. So you can kind of act outside of what you would be pigeonholed into if we saw you in real films the way we're used to. All right, getting into business, your first voice work, you did commercials.
I did, yeah. Lots of commercials. I was one of the Happy Honda people, so you could hear me like, I'm your Happy Honda dealer, and yeah.
but you need kind of like when you say Happy Honda, you kind of need that energy, which is something that we need in anime, and we'll get into that in a second. But you won a voice acting competition at an anime expo.
I did, yeah. In 2014, I ended up trying out for this competition at Anime Expo. I had known the studio. I was taking classes with the studio. I thought to myself, if they wanted to give me a shot, then they probably would have given it to me already. And one of my friends, she convinced me to do the competition with her, kind of pushed me into line, and I ended up winning it, and it completely changed my life. It snowballed my entire career, and they called me up. I got my first role in an anime, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and of course, right now, the biggest role yet, your character in Demon Slayer. For people who aren't familiar with this, explain to them what this whole premise is about. And there really are good lessons that kids can learn through this.
Yeah, so I play a character. His name's Tanjiro. Basically, the story is about a boy who comes home one day. His entire family gets sadly massacred by a demon, except for his sister, who was turned into a demon. And he goes through all these lengths to try and turn his sister back into a human. So this entire show kind of follows him just trying to save his sister. Um, yeah, it's a great show, and he's a great role model too.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier in the introduction, just kind of you broke those box office records. That's got to feel really good. And for you, what's nice is that you have a little bit of a veil. Like for some celebrities, they step out and they get mauled by people. You have a little bit of a veil because you're playing that character, right? But were you surprised at the record that was broken and how many people just grasped this movie?
Oh, completely shocked by it. Being a part of something like this is a dream come true. I never expected it to be what it is right now today, and yeah, it's just kind of mind blowing, honestly. Seeing it get Hollywood recognition, it's just crazy.
Yeah, and let's go through a little bit of the mechanics of this. When you're an anime voice actor, so not even just voice actor or animated voice actor, but anime, the tracks are oftentimes, I guess, could be shot without you really having the full context because you're not necessarily in the room all the time with the other characters, right? And then it's the way that you have to project. There's so many different nuances here.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting process dubbing anime. You know, first we kind of go through the scenes in Japanese, so we'll watch the scenes. Everything is already pre-animated, so we're kind of watching the animation and then matching these words on a script to this already animated mouth flap. And because the process is so technical, we don't get to record with the other actors. So I'm kind of playing off of another character through my headphones, if that makes any sense. Yeah. I'm just listening to what other actors have already laid down, or sometimes if I'm the first one to record, I unfortunately have to imagine how all the other actors are going to sound afterwards.
So it's so many little things, like the grunts need to be louder, or whatever it is you're doing has to be much more animated, right, with anime. The mouth movements are timed to Japanese dialogue because these are done in different languages as well.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Your reaction to the final cut of the movie, because with any actor, when you're shooting your parts in different ways and different days, and when you're shooting something, you're not looking at yourself. So when it was finally done, and you're sitting in the theater and you get to watch it with all of its effects on the big screen, what was that like for you?
Oh wow! I mean, it was honestly surreal. I'm at the Chinese theater in Hollywood. Just this big crowd of people, it completely packed full theater. Channing Tatum was actually sitting right in front of me, and he had such great positive reactions to a lot of my dialogue in the movie, which made me feel awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm super happy with how it turned out, and I think the entire cast and crew just did a phenomenal job. So it's great to see it get such recognition. It's
so cool to see your career kind of come full circle in the sense that not only are you doing these big movies, but you're also, where it started for you, piquing your curiosity, wondering about the characters in video games. You also do voiceovers for characters in video games. You're coming to Houston. What can people expect at this particular festival, if you will?
You appear far too young to
already. Oh wow, yeah. So I mean, you can meet all sorts of different voice actors from anime, video games. I mean, Demon Slayer is one of my big ones, but of course, some people know me as Byleth from Fire Emblem and Super Smash Brothers. Yeah, Genos in One Punch Man, David Martinez in Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Ether in Genshin Impact, and so many more. But yeah, there's a lot of great guests out there. We always love connecting with the fans, and it's kind of nice to just have that sort of connection and moment because normally we don't really have that kind of connection.
Yeah, yeah. All right, and I always love being there because people get really creative in how they dress up as well. Zach, thank you very much for joining us this morning, and congratulations on your success. Your mom did a good job.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right, cutting kindergarten. All right, you can catch Zach this weekend at AnimeVerse Fest at NRG Center. It's an exciting time for anime and video game fans to come together and enjoy cosplay contests, panels, and vendors. For more information and also about tickets, go to greatdayhouston.com and we will connect you.